Hello, lovely people of the world. It's me, Sarah. Welcome back to our channel, Love Withstanding. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. As you can tell from the title below, today would be a week 7 to 9 pregnancy update for our second baby park number 2. That looks like 4. Baby park number 2. So yeah, we're really excited. Thank you guys again so much for those of you who are following us, who have to our Love Withstanders out there. Thank you so much for your well wishes, your kindness, your support, and thank you for following our journey in the second pregnancy. For those of you who don't know us, my husband Justin and my daughter and our daughter Sabrina, we shared a channel and we do pregnancy updates, parenthood updates, some comedies left and right, family vlogs, as well as the harsh realities of certain family dramas in our lives. So yeah, please tune in and hit the subscribe button below if you haven't, as well as please leave your comments in the comment section below, because we love and enjoy reading every single one of your comments. Here we go. I'm going to be discussing my symptoms, any vivid dreams, as well as any highlights for every single week of pregnancy. For this video, I'll be discussing week 7, week 8, and week 9. So we'll start off with week 7. For week 7, yeah, I decided not to weigh myself anymore. I don't know if you guys haven't seen the previous video. I mentioned that my weight is basically the same, and so I don't think I've been gaining or losing any weight this early on in the pregnancy, but we'll see how it goes. Please bear with me if I look down on at my phone for notes. I try my best to be as accurate as possible when it comes to jotting down notes, because I really want to experience and cherish and remember every single one of my pregnancy updates going forward in life, so I can look back and go like, oh, I guess this pregnancy is the same or a little bit different from the first pregnancy and all that stuff. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it too. I remember being a first-time mom during my first pregnancy. I remember appreciating watching other YouTube moms out there that post their updates with as much detail as possible during their pregnancy, and it really helped me a lot. Please share, for those mamas out there, please share with me what your symptoms are like as well. And yeah, we're taking guesses on genders. No, it's too early. We'll see how that goes. I noticed that my appetite is starting to slowly pick up, which is great. You guys, you have no idea. I love food so much. I'm like, please let me be able to eat again. So yeah, I still get nauseous in the evening hours, or especially towards the end of the day, so at night, unfortunately. So what I try to do is I try to get, maybe like call it a night a little bit earlier than usual. So like as soon as Sabrina goes to bed, I'm like, okay, me too, all right? Because I don't want to stay up, but I'm usually a night owl. I usually have more energy during the night than I do during the morning hours. I believe Justin is the same, my husband Justin. But yeah, so I still get the burpy throat feeling, you know, you feel like you're just burpy, but for some reason the burp just doesn't come out of my mouth. It just stays right here, just a bubbling feeling that goes up and down my throat. Not fun for sure. I noticed for week 7 that I get shortness of breath now and a bit of wheezing. So a little history for you guys. I do have adult acquired asthma. My mom was born with asthma. None of her kids had asthma up until I was about, I think I was about like 24 or 25 when I realized, or 27, something like that, when I realized that I had asthma. I mean, I got diagnosed with it from one of my doctors when I was younger, and I was like, my goodness, like I've never had asthma, like where did this come from? So yeah, I definitely have a puffer that I can use that my doctor said is perfectly fine and safe to use. It's a Ventolin or salbutamol inhaler. So far I haven't felt the need to use it. So what I do is, like, if I get short of breath or wheezing, which usually happens at night, I just try to sleep it off. It's like take sips of water and try to sleep it off, because it doesn't get so bad, you know, it's noticeable, that's all. What else? I still have food aversions to the same things that I mentioned in the previous pregnancy update for my 4 to 6 week update. Yeah, my food aversions are still towards any type of stew dishes, like a Korean hot pot, unfortunately, any Chinese food, and still aversion to beef. All the types of foods that I love, you guys, so that's unfortunate. So I noticed that I'm craving cold lemonade though, which is awesome. So refreshing. I mean, it is the summer months over here in Canada, so I'm like, oh, thank goodness for cold lemonade. I don't get chills anymore at night, but I do feel colder than usual during the night, and I still get hot flashes during the day. It could be related to the fact that it's summer months here in Canada, so these are just symptoms that stood out for me, so I'm just sharing them with you guys. Alright, you guys, I know it's really early and it's only week 7, but I think I felt something in my tummy. Aside from the fact that I do have a growing baby in there, but this early on, I know it's probably not baby's movements and probably just the manufacturing of a human being, like the process of that I'm feeling. It felt almost like early baby kicks. I know, it's strange. I know it sounds strange, but I'm just telling you honestly what it felt like little knocks. They don't happen in a pattern though, and it's usually isolated and it doesn't happen as often. For example, yesterday I felt 1 or 2 knocks, and then I don't feel it again until 2 days later. It could just be gas, you guys. I guess I get so excited and I'm like, am I gonna feel baby extra early this time around? Because I read a few articles and I've heard from other more experienced mamas out there that your second and consecutive pregnancies, after that, you actually feel the baby sooner. Oh, I'm excited for that. So I still have extreme exhaustion. I still get bloated, especially by the end of the day. I still get breakouts on my forehead, along my hairline, which is awesome. I mean, if you guys watch like our previous family vlogs, I think the one at the petting zoo, yeah, you could really I got a few comments about, wow, Sarah's pimples are really highlighted in this thumbnail photo. It's like, yes, exactly. So yeah, sometimes makeup just couldn't hide those huge bumps, you know. But yeah, ooh. Of course, as you guys know, I am recording this video a little later than usual because we did face some technical difficulties, and most of the updates early on that I had recorded, unfortunately, were too blurred to actually post on YouTube. So we decided to do it all over again, so bear with me here. That's why I'm so glad I have my notes. Another thing I noticed this for week 7 is that I have an increased TMI, an increased vaginal discharge, as well as increased nasal mucus. So yeah, I don't have a cold or anything like that, so it's just something that's new. I'm like, why am I blowing my nose more? It's not like it's runny nose, you just feel like there's a lot more in there than usual. And yeah, definitely the same down there. But yeah, I've read that is normal and expected during pregnancy because of the increased blood volume that your body or your heart is pumping out in order to sustain the growing fetus, sustain the life down there, as well as in order to make sure that, you know, baby is well hydrated or the amniotic fluid is well maintained when it comes to volume. All that good stuff. So many reasons, really. And because of the increased blood volume, all the bodily fluids through my body is actually increased as well. So nasal discharge, vaginal discharge, you name it. Okay, so moving on now to my week 7 crazy dreams. Highlight. So yeah, for this week, I had 2 vivid dreams that I was able to recall and actually record onto my phone here. So the first dream was a little creepy, still makes my the hair on my arm stand. But okay, so this first dream, I dreamt that my sister was over at our place and we were just, you know, chilling and relaxing because both our daughters are resting and are having their afternoon nap upstairs in Sabrina's room. So normally they sleep in 2 separate cribs, but for some reason in this dream they're both sleeping in the same crib. realistically, they don't fit in the same crib. It's usually good for just one baby. So yeah, so they fit in the same crib in my dream. And then I remember, like, because we have a baby monitor that I tend to look at or watch in order to, you know, just to watch, because I enjoy watching my little baby sleep. I remember in my dream watching and seeing, noticing that my niece, my sister's daughter, for some weird reason was starting to like levitate or float above the crib, but like really slowly. First she was like moving, so as if somebody was moving her, except you don't see hands moving her, as if she was being moved while she's sleeping, and then all of a sudden she started floating. And I remember going like, oh my god. I call my sister Manang. For you guys, for those of you who are new to our channel, I call my sister Manang. She calls me Yaya. We're half Filipino, half Sudanese, so yeah, we have all these strange nicknames for each other. But yeah, I remember showing my sister the monitor in my dream and saying, oh my god, Manang, what is going on? Like, what's happening to, you know, your daughter? And then she started freaking out. She's like, oh my goodness, what's going on? Like, what's going on? And I'm like, wait, just chill. I will see what I can do. And then I remember, like, because you're able to maneuver the camera on the monitor. So I was able to, like, search the room to see, like, is there anything around my niece? Is there anything around my baby niece that is, like, causing her to float above the crib and like slowly float up? So she was consistently floating. And then I noticed, oh gosh, this is so scary, you guys. But yeah, so in my dream, the monitor picked up a lady, an adult, okay? I would say a little bit older than us, maybe like in her 40s or whatnot. And she was wearing glasses, and she had her hair back in a ponytail. She had dark hair, dark straight hair, and she kind of had her arms out like this, and she was kind of like controlling my baby niece. So Andy is her nickname. So my baby niece Andy was like being lifted up into the air from a distance, you guys, as if this 40-ish-year-old lady had the power to lift her up from a distance. So I was like so freaked out when I saw that in the monitor. I'm like, what the, like, it took a long time. Like, by the way, you guys, this is just a dream, or I guess a nightmare now. But yeah, I remember saying like I couldn't quite, my mind couldn't quite make sense of it. Yeah, itchy hands. And then I think when I noticed that Sabrina was being moved next while Andy's floating, and Sabrina's starting to be like moved around. And then Sabrina started, she didn't float yet, but she was going. You could tell she's about to start floating in their sleep, by the way. That's when I like lost it in my dream. And I was like, that's it, I'm going up there. And then I remember myself and my sister running up the stairs, like in hopes that we would catch whatever this weird thing that's going on. We're hoping that we would catch it and like figure out what's going on in this dream. And then I remember the moment I like was about to push Sabrina's bedroom door open, I woke up. Oh, thank God. I don't think I wanted to know what the rest of the dream, how the rest of the dream was gonna go. So I was like, okay, good. Just a nightmare, just a bad dream. That was so freaky though. Like, oh, I don't mind vivid dreams, just please like not haunted ones. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my goodness. But yeah, so that happened. Sorry if I gave you guys a scare. Hopefully that means nothing. The dream, I don't even know what that means. For those of you who have fun at posting your guesses or your interpretations of dreams, please feel free to share those in the comment section below, because I would love to hear your thoughts on that. I mean, just for fun. It might not mean anything, but just for fun, I'd love to read them. The second dream I've had, so for those of you who don't know, we had a travel vlog earlier this year before this whole pandemic had started. So in January of this year, my sister got married in Mexico, or at least they had their wedding reception there. So yeah, our whole family kind of flew up to Mexico. Like, that was our first time. I guess our second time. I mean, it's our first time in Riviera Maya. But yeah, we flew there to celebrate my sister and our brother-in-law, as they, they were having sort of like, it's actually technically it's their first anniversary, first wedding anniversary, but they kind of did not have a big party or reception the first last year. So this year, last year, 2 years ago, so this year they decided to sort of have a nice big reception in Mexico. So for week 7, I had a dream that I was still at my sister's wedding in Mexico. And then I remember that I was in a bus, sort of like a tourist bus that we had rented in my dream to accommodate for most of the guests of my sisters. And I remember having to get off the bus and telling everyone that I'm gonna go search for some guests who are missing, that have not, like, for some reason they were not accounted for, and we were waiting for them before the bus could leave to either, I don't know whether we were gonna head home after the reception or whether we were going to the reception. I just remember having to search around the beach and trying to scout some guests that are missing on the bus. So I remember finding like one of my coworkers. Her name is Ate Raquel. Her name is Raquel, but I call her Ate. And yeah, I remember scouting and then finding her. I'm saying, "Oh, Ate, you know, like the bus is waiting. We're about to leave. Can you please, you know, let's go?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, okay, sure. There are still a few guests here in the washroom as well." I remember going like, "Oh my goodness, okay." And I remember seeing like a bunch of kids. And I'm like, "Oh, you know, like your parents are waiting for you. Let's go." So yeah, I should have paid attention more to the gender of the kids. I didn't. I know I'm just so paranoid, you guys, because I'm like dying to find out. I'm like, what is the gender of this baby? So yeah, it's just so exciting. Yeah, I didn't pay attention to that. So that's all I remember from my dreams. I was rounding up guests and reminding them like, "Hey, the bus is about to go, you guys. We need to get on the bus. Like, let's go, let's go." That's pretty much it for my vivid dreams. Sorry if it's not as eventful, although the first one was pretty scary, gotta admit, right? And no other highlights for week 7. Moving on now to week 8 of pregnancy. So for week 8, my symptoms were, first of all, for week 8, I decided out of curiosity to weigh myself, and I tipped the scales at 133.2 pounds. So I'm like, pretty much the same weight since week 4. Pretty much same symptoms as week 7. I noticed my appetite is starting to return. Still lots of nasal and vaginal discharge. Still having crazy dreams. Maybe I'll start off with the crazy dreams. So here we go. So for week 8, I had 3 vivid dreams. My first one is bizarre. So the first vivid dream, I dreamt that for some reason I was single again in my dream, as if I was never married. I never had kids or anything, and I was competing at a ski race. So I was at a ski resort and practicing for a competition that I was a part of. And I remember that there's a young man trying to impress me or trying to get my attention the entire time I was skiing down the slopes. Mind you guys, I don't ski. I mean, I've only skied once in my life, and I was like terrified, and I'm like, I don't know if I'll do that again. And I'm just not a fan of the cold climate. Ironically, I live in Canada, but I'm not a fan of like staying outdoors in the cold for way too long, you know, when it's freezing. So yeah, this dream was just overall weird for me. Young man was just trying to get my attention the entire time I was trying to like focus on practicing for a ski competition, and yeah, trying to impress me. That's pretty much the first dream. The second dream. So in my second dream, I was visiting a friend of mine in the Philippines. She invited me into her home, and I remember upon entering the kitchen area of my friend's home. So mind you, in my dream, I recognized this person as a friend of mine, like a female friend of mine. But in reality, I actually don't know who that is. Never seen her before. So yeah, I entered into the kitchen so that she would introduce me to her mom, who was preparing food for my visit. And the strange thing is I recognized her mom, even in my dream and even like in reality. I'm like, wait, she looks a lot like one of my classmates back in university. Because I studied nursing in the Philippines for about 4 years. and I got my nursing degree from there. So I remember, like, I'm talking in reality. So like in my dream, I remember recognizing, like, hey, wait, my friend's mom is actually, she looks a lot like my classmate in university. Except she looked a lot older, like way older. Like she had wrinkles, grayish hair. And like, it's the strangest thing because I was like, don't I know you? And then, yeah, the mom was like, or my friend's mom in my dream was like, no, never met before, but I hear a lot about you and all that. I was like, huh, that's the strangest thing. And then I just woke up. Sorry, that's all I got, you guys. So yeah, the third and last dream for week 8 is I remember being dressed in a nurse's uniform, the way nurses uniforms used to look like in the olden times, like the ancient times. You know, like the all white with a huge white nursing cap, white stockings, white shoes, like white apron, everything white. So yeah, I dreamt that I was dressed in that, and that's pretty much the setting as the back in the days. And then I was in a group with like 3 or 4 other nurses who were all female, and for some reason we were on a mission, like a medical mission, in Australia, and we were at the airport in Sydney, Australia, and I remember that we had like a long layover over there, so then we decided to sort of explore the area, and then so yeah, we went out and explored a little bit, but I remember like, oh, okay, it's time for us to get back to the airport because our next flight, our connecting flight, is going to board sometime soon. But as I was going back to the airport, I remember like having a hard time like finding the people in my group. I'm like, where'd everyone go? Like, are they already inside? So I tried to enter the airport, and then there was like a guard that was sort of, oh, excuse me, miss, where do you think you're going? And I'm like, I'm going back into the airport because I just came out here to explore a little bit during my long layover. I need to catch the connecting flight. I had a group of girls like dressed like me that were like went ahead, I believe. And then this guard was like smiling, and he was like, yes, you're right. They did go ahead inside, so I'm just gonna let you back in as well. But next time you need to have your proper documentation, all that. I was like, yes, sir, I will. Thank you so much. And then he let me in, and for some reason, as I was walking back into the airport by myself, the word Sydney kept playing over and over in my head. And then I woke up, and I woke up to just Sydney, the word Sydney. And I don't even know if that means anything, probably not. And then I tried to look it up, and I go, oh, maybe it's just like a little sign as to what the gender of our second baby is. And apparently it's a unisex name, of course. So Sydney could be both a boy's name, a girl's name. It's also a city in Australia. So I'm like, okay, it could be anything at this point. By the way, we've never been to Australia. So yeah, this is the strangest dream. That's all I got for week 8, vivid dreams. But I do also have a highlight for week 8. So exciting. So we went for our first ever ultrasound ever in this entire second pregnancy. And I just dropped my phone. I think Sabrina's awake. I'm not sure. Sorry, Sabrina's just napping right now, so. And for this first ultrasound, we got to see little baby Park number 2. And he or she is measuring 18.6 millimeters, and heartbeat is 166 beats per minute. And baby Park looked like a little blob. There's a tiny little blob who was just resting at the base. It's so exciting. I was just happy that there was a heartbeat. I'm happy that baby like was fine according to them. They're like, this early on in the pregnancy, at least we got to see our baby. So yeah, it's really exciting. Our daughter Sabrina has no clue. If we show her the picture, she's like, what am I looking at? Moving on to my week 9 pregnancy update for this video. Symptoms are, I'm still nauseous in the afternoons this time, as well as evenings. It used to be just the evening, nighttime, but now it's starting to pick up in the afternoon. Ugh. Not fun. Even just thinking about it or talking about it is making me nauseous. Sorry, you guys. I'll try not to think about it. Ooh. For those mamas out there, other people who have had nausea in their lives, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I'll try to move on. So yeah, notice I'm very gassy, still very bloated, especially during the end of the day. I'm craving fries, you guys, especially McDonald's fries. Like, oh my goodness. I feel so good after having it, even though it might be so bad for me. Come on, you guys. Like, I mean, I have had no appetite all along, and if this is what I'm craving, let me have it. McDonald's fries, I'm craving burgers, I'm craving decaf coffee from McDonald's. Like, everything McDonald's, I seem to like enjoy. It makes me happy. Yay. I notice I also crave salt with my fruits. So like salt with apple, salt with strawberry, like, oh my goodness, just heaven. Still get very tired. I still have very low energy levels, so I'm doing my best to seem enthusiastic and happy. But it takes a lot of energy to put like a smile on my face, to speak with more, you know, bubbliness and more enthusiasm. Like, it's really hard. And of course, I have 2 highlights for week 9, but we'll start off with vivid dreams. I've had vivid dreams for week 9 as well. So if you guys watch 90 Day Fiancé, which I'm sure most of you do, goodness, like, we're addicted to it. Justin and I watch it all the time. More like I watch it all the time and force Justin to watch it, but yeah, no, he has no choice. So yeah. Ji-hoon, the Korean man in 90 Day Fiancé, I dreamt of him, and I dreamt that Ji-hoon and I were walking alongside each other at an airport. I remember having Justin carrying Sabrina in the distance. For some reason, they walked ahead of us, and I remember Ji-hoon's wife, Devin, carrying their little one as well, their little boy, Taeyang, and walking ahead as well. So it was just Ji-hoon and I walking alongside each other, having a conversation. And I remember he was sort of sharing his, you know, like minor, mini frustrations about like, oh, you know, my wife keeps giving me a hard time. She keeps thinking that I'm not mature enough to be like a father or husband. You know, basically the issues that they actually faced that we had watched in 90 Day Fiancé. But this is all in my dream, you guys. And I remember responding to Ji-hoon. I said, it's exact words, Ji-hoon, you know what you need to do. Like that. That's how I said it in my dream. And then he kind of like nodded his head and he was like, yeah, you're right. And then he said, oh, where's your man? He asked me, and then I said, he's over there with our little one, I told him. And then he smiled and said, ah, yeah, he's a lucky man. I remember like smiling, because like appreciating his comment, and then walking, like we parted ways at that point. He walked towards his wife, who was a little bit further down the left, and then I remember walking more towards the right, and we kind of just like nodded goodbye to each other, Ji-hoon and I. So we just nodded like this, and I went ahead and met up with Justin and Sabrina. That's pretty much my vivid dream for week 9. Okay, so moving on to my highlights for week 9. First one is I had my first ever pregnancy blood work. This just to test my overall complete blood count, my overall blood levels, and the vitamins and minerals in it. Also to they obtained like urine samples to make sure everything looks great and dandy when it comes to my kidney function, and making sure there's no like infections or bladder infection and all that stuff. So yeah, I haven't heard back from the doctors yet when it comes to my results, but that's basically one of the highlights for week 9. My other highlight is we've finally announced to our friends, our closest friends. We met with them at a park. For those of you who have not seen, we actually recorded that announcement, the pregnancy announcement for the second baby, towards our friends at a picnic at a park. I know it was early. We did discuss this with you guys as well in that previous video, that it was too early to announce, but I'm starting to show you guys. So yeah. Thank you so much. That's it, you guys. Thank you for tuning in to today's video. And thank you to all of you who have sent your well wishes, your love, your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you subscribe or hit the subscribe button below if you haven't done that, please do, and follow us as well on Instagram and Facebook, because it really, or give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, because all of those actions would help support our channel, and we would really appreciate it. So thank you for watching. Mwah. We love you. See you again next update. Bye.